Okay, everyone, let's do one more coding exercise from Hackerrank. Again, why are we doing actual true coding exercises for DevOps roles? That's because definitely nowadays, the chances of you having to code something as part of the interview is super, super high. And a lot of the times, the coding is not Terraform or Kubernetes and whatnot. It's actual software type, algorithm type coding. So we have to be ready for that. So let's go. If you like the content I create, please subscribe. That helps my channel, and I really appreciate that. So log in to Hackerrank. What you see here, there's general problem solving, and then there's interview preparation kit. So today's problem is going to be the last one we're going to do in this set. And then we're going to move into the interview preparation ones. That is more to the point, obviously. So let's go into here. And we're going to do the solved ones because we're not going to tackle anything that I haven't tackled myself yet. Give it an easy set of problems because that's where we are right now. We haven't moved into medium yet. All right, so last time we did this one, diagonal difference. I'm going to skip this one because it's more math type, and I'm generally better with math type problems, so it doesn't really add a whole bunch of value to do that. So here's the one I'm going to do for you today, and it remembered my last solution, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that, and we're going to remove all my codes. Okay, now I struggled with this one. It took me an hour and a half, maybe even two, to finish it all up to find a solution that's bug-free. Then I also got some help from ChatGPT for parts of it, just to overcome the problems I was having. So if this one's taking you long, please don't feel bad because it probably is not a super easy one. However, after I finished it, I went to ChatGPT and looked up the solution, and it was super, super simple. And that's because I missed the function. So first, I'm going to do the one that the way I did it, the hard way. And at the end of the video, I will show you what ChatGPT gave me, which was fantastic. It was a much better solution. Anyway, let's go. So first, what are you going to do? So the problem, first of all, the problem is we have to print a staircase like this. Essentially, all it is on it'll give you, input will be number of lines, if you will. And then the first line is going to have, let's say if they give you 4, right? It's going to have 3 spaces and the pound sign. The second line is going to have 2 spaces and 2 pound signs, and so on and so forth. If this was 6, it would be 5 spaces and then 1 pound sign. The next line, 4 spaces and 2 pound sign. Essentially, what it comes down to is comes down to making a string that has so many spaces and so many pound signs, and then printing that. So making a string like that, for me, it took a long time. Anyway, let's get started. So in this case, what we're going to do, we're going to actually write a function, first of all, that will take in, and we'll call this make me a line. That is the function that's going to return me a string that has the right number of spaces and pound signs. Make me a line. And it's going to take in 2 arguments, spaces and hashes, and they're both in 32. And it's going to return a string. And for right now, I'm just going to return anything because I'm not going to actually write the function, because I'm going to make the structure of the problem first and then fill in the functions that we actually need. So result, actually variable result. Variable result is a string, and in the beginning it has nothing in it. And then we return result. And again, the code of making that string will come later. Okay, so why are there 2? Sometimes I wish Hackerrank didn't help me. Okay, so that's that. Why is it complaining? Missing comma. Oh. That's better. That's better. Okay. So now we're going to do, because you see it's going to be a for loop, obviously, because it's going to, for each line, there'll be a for loop line. So let's do for. We will start with the first line. So we're going to actually give it a meaningful name so the code makes more sense. Var line number is int32. Pardon me. And initially the value will be 1. Now we have the loop. Line number, it will start with 1, and it will go on until line number is greater than n, which is the number of lines it asks in the first place. This is the input to the function. Pardon me. Okay. So when it's more, let's say it's 4. When it goes to 5, I don't want a fifth line, so it will stop at 4, for example. So that's the condition, and each time we're going to increment line number by 1. Now that the code. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually print cough, I just stir up just now. We're going to say whatever I get from make me a line, that's what we're going to print, because we're going to print a line. Make me a line. Okay. Now we have to give it 2 parameters: spaces, number of spaces, and number of hashes. Where that's going to come from. So that's the structure. I don't know why there's 2 of them. Print. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so now how many spaces do we need for any given line? Spaces, let's also define these things. Spaces and hashes. But also in 32, and we'll start with 0. It doesn't really matter because we're going to give the values anyway. Spaces on any given line is actually what? So for example, the first one, when n is 4, right? And the line number is 1, I need 3. So it's going to be n minus line number. So for example, if it was a second line, I would get a 2. 4 minus 2. So that should work. And how many hashes do we need? The hashes will be exactly the same as the line number. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4 will be line number, same as line number. And it doesn't like hashes. Why? Missing? Oh, maybe to do that. Okay, they'll like it. Okay, now you see, I'm not going to return anything right now because I have still to write this function. But I want to see if actually it's hard to see spaces in the output for Hackerrank. Some could put something in there. I'm going to run code just to make sure the structure works, right? And of course, it'll give me the wrong answer, right? So it didn't print anything in the standard out. Okay, I expected A in the standard out. Result string A returned result. Yeah. Make me a line, spaces and hashes. So what I was trying to say is print A no matter what, and it didn't do that. Line number greater than 1. I think this is wrong. Is it? For loop. Oh, it's the true condition, so it has to be less than or equal to. Because it will continue as long as the condition is true. So you see, there are 6 lines each time. It didn't matter. It just printed A the whole time. So now we have to make this function return me the right amount of hashes and spaces. So what are you going to do? We're going to run through a for loop here for we can just do I think in this case it will start with let's see, I want number spaces, and it will start with 0, I think. Let's see, let's give it a try. We'll start with the 0, and as long as, actually no, start with, yeah, 0, because at the very end, space will be 0. And as long as I is, let's see, for example, in the third line, there'll be 1 space, last one be 4. So as long as I is less than spaces, let's see if that works. Let me have to tweak that. Continue, and then and I++. Now we're gonna build a string right here. I think I have to make I an int32. By default, it's int, and it has problems with it. Var int32 equals 0. That's fine. Oh, and this is a spelling mistake. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to append to result. Result equals result plus a space, right? Oh, I have to give it a name. Okay, so we start with 0, and I think maybe I want to start. No, I don't want to start with. Don't want to start with 1 because that in the end it'll be 0. So if I was 0 and I equals less than spaces, in the end the space would be 0, and as long as I is less than 0. Yeah, I think that should work. Now, that's for the spaces. I still have to append number of hashes for I int. Okay, I think I can just copy this whole for loop and change it. Copy that. 0 number of hashes this time. Hashes. And this time we're going to add that. No complaints. That's good. So I'm actually going to put, first of all, this will stop the blank. I'm going to put A here because it's hard to read how many spaces you've got in the output, as you will see here. So at the beginning, I'll just put A in the space where it's supposed to be spaces, so I know exactly how many are getting printed. Okay, so no complaints, so we can run the code. I think the timeout. Does it? Nope. Okay. Wrong. So that's fine. So you see, there's 5 A's, which will soon be spaces. So that seems to have worked. Okay, cool. Now, instead of A, we put space. Now that I know it's printing the right number of spaces, run the code. And that worked for the case that's given to us, that we can see. And if we submit, it's going to run through all the test cases. And did it work? Yeah, it worked. So now that I've showed you that, that's the hard way. So I went to ChatGPT, and earlier I gave it the problem, and look, there's actually a repeat function in the strings package, and there was a clue here that I missed. You see, it's asking you to use these packages, and if I had to use string packages, if I looked it up, strings package has a function called repeat that lets you do what I just did by myself the hard way. Spaces equals strings dot repeat so many times, and then repeat pound so many times, and you see how super small that code is, and as opposed to mine. So anyway, it worked. All right, so next time we're going to tackle one of the interview questions from Staircase. Not Staircase, from Hackerrank. All right. Hope you found this useful. I will see you in the next video.